content. Please post that content. Please post that content. Stop sitting on content. That makes no sense. Having a good pair of jeans, whether it be 1, 2, or 3, it don't matter. Keep wearing them, because I know I'm gonna keep wearing mine. A lot of y'all are so interested in my dating life, like, oh my gosh, can I breathe? I'm young and turned with 2 dogs. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not young. Okay. Do you want to settle? I think not. Hey y'all, welcome back to another video. Today we're gonna be doing a girl chat, chit chat / updated Q&A chat. On my Instagram, I asked you all to drop some questions and or topics for me to talk about. And when I tell you, you all asked a lot and just said a lot, I mean a lot. Also, we hit 20K. I'm so eternally grateful for all of you here on YouTube. To think that we started this channel 9 months ago and have built the community that we have is absolutely crazy, but I cherish you all so much and I'm so eternally grateful for all your support. That means there's a lot of new people here, so I definitely want more of you to get to know me. So if you're interested in an updated Q&A, girl chat / general chat, then keep watching. Alright y'all, so first things first, let's talk content, because I got a ton of questions about content, YouTube, TikTok, whatever, if I'm going to do it full time, if I'm not, what I edit with, what I do this with, what I do that with. So let's dive into some content creation questions. So the first question is, when did you start YouTubing and what technology did you utilize when starting? So I started YouTube around 9 months ago in March of 2023. First of all, I was on TikTok for a little bit and then y'all convinced me to transition to YouTube. So before I did, I just went out and bought a camera because I wanted my uploads to be at the highest quality possible. So I went out and bought a camera and then I uploaded that same weekend, I want to say. That was in March. I think that was like March 13th or something like that. And then I've been uploading every week since. Now we've taken some weeks off, but yeah. And then that's the camera I use. So it is a Sony ZV-1. It's from Best Buy. I linked it in my LTK if you're interested. I also have the Sony shooting grip to go along with it. And then I use Capcut on my desktop here to edit for YouTube. I also use Capcut on my phone to edit for TikToks. And by the way, a lot of people ask me what I use for TikToks versus YouTube. But for YouTube, I strictly use my Sony ZV-1. I never use my iPhone unless there's some type of clip I need and I don't have my camera or my camera died or something. I just will turn my iPhone horizontally and then I'll film it and I'll put it into the vlog. And I always make like a little disclaimer at the top that it's iPhone footage because the footage does look a little different, but the quality is still nice. So if you want to start YouTubing and you don't have a camera, I would highly recommend an iPhone for you to start because the camera is an investment. And then for TikTok, I strictly use my iPhone 15 Pro Max. I set my camera to 40p 60. Hold on, let's see what it's at. 4K 60p. That's what my camera settings are, and then I just make sure I'm like stable when I'm shooting and just get super high quality for TikTok. So I got a lot of questions about like what the easiest apps are to edit. So I only use CapCut. I've only ever used CapCut since I started YouTube and TikTok. It's the easiest for me personally. It has a lot of features. Now it can get really complicated, but it doesn't have to get complicated by any means. So CapCut is just that perfect middle ground for me. So that's what I use. So I'm gonna ask like where I get my YouTube music from. So I get all my music from the YouTube audio library. If you type in non-copyright music in their audio library, it should be vetted in non-copyright, but I would recommend putting your videos through checks. I put my videos through checks to just make sure to check for copyright. How do you determine your content creation niche during your journey? So for me, I never really set out and said like, hey, my niche is gonna be X, Y, and Z. I kind of just picked up a camera. I started to record and then I was like convinced by y'all to go ahead and start YouTube, and I'm glad that I did. But lifestyle is my niche. I was pretty much already living the life that you all already see here on camera. I just thought it would be nice to just pick up a camera and just record it. I think you should choose a niche most closely related to what you naturally do, so it can be natural and organic. Like if you know you're not a car person, don't go and make TikToks about cars because it just won't be natural and then you won't gain the community that you're looking for. Or at least that's what I think the goal should be, community, not really followers. I always say that there's a huge difference between just a number of following and having an actual community, because anybody can wake up tomorrow with 200,000 followers on TikTok, Instagram, or wherever, but of those 200, like what is your, like where is your community? Of the 200, do you only have, of the 200,000, do you only have 20 people actually backing your content, whether it be sponsored, non-sponsored, organic, non-organic, whatever it may be? I think community is the most important thing to build on social media, because they're gonna have your back in and out, like whether it be sponsored content, organic content, vlogs, sit downs, Q&A, chit chats, whatever the case may be. Building a community is so much more beneficial because there's so much support in it, rather than just having a bunch of strangers follow you and having that number increase. Having that community increase means so much more because your engagement is also gonna be super high, because those people are gonna get engaged with you day in and day out versus people who just followed you off of a video going viral. Now, there's nothing wrong with that because followers are followers, but I see so much more value in community than like a high number of following, if that makes any sense. So then back to the original question, I kind of just went off on a tangent. How do you choose a niche? I would say choose something that you're organically good at, that you organically already do, that you can portray to other people in the most organic way, because I think people can tell when someone is like faking it or just like, it's just not natural, if that makes any sense. Someone asked what helps me stay consistent with posting content. So y'all, I do have a content schedule, and then y'all also help me stay consistent. Back to the community thing, like since community is such a huge thing and I have people waiting on my content, it motivates me to keep pushing it out and keep producing content. Not only that, but it genuinely is very much like fun for me. Like I love filming, I love editing, I love posting content for y'all. Like I actually really do enjoy it, so that keeps me motivated, and then y'all keep me motivated on the back end for sure. But I do have a schedule. So as y'all know, or maybe some of you don't know, I am a full-time biopharmaceutical scientist, and I work through the week, Monday through Friday, like any normal human, or some normal humans do. So that means that I have the weekends off, and during the weekends I will shoot all my content. So I like to get it in bulk most of the times. So I'll shoot YouTube videos or vlogs every single day of the weekend, or just one day of the weekend, or wherever it may be for my liking that specific weekend. And then throughout those days I will also film stuff for TikToks, like whether it be a get ready with me, like a little outfit video, or like a vlog, let's go to the mall, let's go to Sephora, whatever. I'll intentionally plan it out when the weekend comes. Now before the weekend I have no idea, but as soon as the weekend gets here and I start doing things, I'll intentionally plan the rest of the weekend in my head. For instance, the last time I uploaded a vlog, I filmed Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, but then I got 3 TikTok videos out of that. I got to spend the Friday with me, I got spend Saturday and Sunday with me, and I also got a little get ready with me. So I released those during the week, so I'm not like MIA during the week while I'm at work. But the content is already filmed and edited before the weekend is over, because I do all that stuff on the weekends. So that's why my weekends are kind of heavy with content, which I don't mind, because like I said, I enjoy it. And then I get a lot of questions about just advice for new content creators. It really just goes back to what I was kind of saying before. Choose something that is so naturally organic for you and do that and push that, instead of doing something that's completely inorganic or just doesn't feel natural, because a lot of people are going to be able to tell. So it's like, don't try to be somebody else. Don't try to put on a facade for the internet. I think a lot of people can see through it, and when you're genuine, it goes such a long way, because a lot of people are gonna, number one, be able to relate to you, but number two, be able and wanting to join your community. And like I said before, community is so important when trying to grow a social media following, because community is so much different than followers. At the end of the day, nobody can convince me that having more followers is more important than having community, because it's really not. Like, I have a community of people, and like it fuels me so much, and I'm so grateful to have built a community. And I always say that, like, community is the word of 2024 for me. I think having a community have your back in this realm is so beneficial, so much more beneficial in my opinion than having 1 million followers that don't even know who you are and just found you off one fluke video, off just the chance of them finding that video. Now, there's nothing wrong with that again, but I would say try your hardest to build community. And then another tip that I have for people is to, instead of just vlogging so much or just like taking videos without your voice or just mashing clips together, whatever the case may be, just show who you are. And I'm not saying you need to be overly spilling things about yourself and going into detail or oversharing at all, because that's not who I am. I'm actually very private, if you can't tell, but show who you are. Just talk, go live if you can, make more videos sitting down just talking to the camera, so people can actually get to know you for who you are and your personality, because they can ultimately relate to your personality more than they can relate to you just taking a trip to Target and vlogging it and posting it, because we all go to Target, right? But if we can know who you are as a creator, like even as a person, really, because that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for like-minded people, people that motivate me, people that just inspire me on the internet. Those are the type of people that I follow all the time. So yeah, just tell us who you are, give us insight, and just have more personality if you're not already doing that. Someone asked me how to grow an influencer account quickly on Instagram. And to that, I would really say slow and steady wins the race, y'all. Like, to me, growing followers on any one of my platform is never the goal. Growing community is the goal. So if I get 5 community members in a day versus 500 followers in a day, I'm telling you that is so much better, because those 5 community members are gonna push you to, number 1, keep uploading. Number 2, they're gonna engage in every single piece of content you've ever made, and that's so much more beneficial because you got at least 5 comments on every single video. So those 5 in a day are so much more beneficial than the random 500 who aren't gonna support you every single time you post. They're not gonna comment on anything, they're not gonna like anything, they're not gonna share anything, they're not gonna follow you on a different platform, which is also super important. The amount of people that you can just pull from one platform and place it on another, that speaks volumes when you have community. Like, trust me, y'all. The goal for me is not a quick following, it is community building, because that makes such a difference. And I see that day in and day out when I'm surfing on TikTok or whatever. I can tell people who actually have a community and who don't, because they don't have the support on the back end for their content. And like I said a million times, that's what I appreciate so much. To be able to post something and so many people engage with it and can relate to it, and we just feel like we're friends through the screen or whatever the case may be, that is so beneficial. Like, y'all have no clue. But yeah, that would be my answer to that. I wouldn't try to grow quickly. I would try to grow genuinely and grow a community. All right, so the next most asked question has to be about my job, whether I'm live, just filming videos for TikTok, on YouTube, whatever the case may be. Someone always asks me what I do for a living. Again, if you don't know, I am a biopharmaceutical scientist. I do not divulge or over divulge information about my job on the internet, because I truly believe that there should be a line between your private life and your public life, especially if you're in the realm of content creation. There's a lot of people in the world who don't have your best intentions in mind. So keeping that in mind, I just make sure I am very heavy on my boundaries and my privacy. That's pretty much all I'm willing to say about my job. That's pretty much all I've ever said about my job. Nobody really knows in detail what I do exactly, because I'm not really willing to share it, because like I said, privacy is a huge thing for me. I used to actually take DMs from people just looking for like job advice, job hunting advice, biology majors, whatever, because I also majored in biology. But a lot of people even started to overstep in my DMs and just like step over boundaries and not respect privacy at all. So I kind of sort of took a step back from answering a lot of those DMs, because a lot of people think that I will share things just because it's me and them one-on-one in a message, which is not the case. But with that being said, I am extremely blessed to be in the position that I am in as it relates to my job and career. I have established a career at 20, I think I did it at 22, 23. I can tell you all a little bit about my journeys. So after undergrad, I spent the summer at home working as a cosmetic microbiologist in a lab. And then after that, I moved to Philly for grad school, and I started as a full-time biopharmaceutical microbiologist. And I am super beyond blessed to be in the realm that I am in, and I cherish every single moment, every single second of it. I love what I do. It really does fuel me, and I'm very happy to be able to do science for a living and also content creation for a living. So then that kind of leads me to the question of, how do you find a balance between life and content? Because I do work full-time, but I also do content creation on the side. That is not my full-time job. So how I find a balance, it kind of just relates back to the scheduling question about like how I stay motivated to keep producing content. Like today, for instance, I've already worked and now I'm sitting here filming this video. Honestly, I think it's just, if you want it, you go after it and you do it. Like, if I want it, I'm gonna do it. No matter how tired I am after work, no matter how much I just wanna lay around on the weekends, I'm gonna get the content because this is really what I wanna do. Now, is it what I wanna do full time? I don't know if I'm quite there yet. Eventually, I probably will be. But right now, I have a really nice balance between my everyday work life and my social media content weekend life type of vibe. That balance is pretty perfect for me right now. Nothing has really throwing a wrench in my plans so far, so I'm gonna just keep riding the wave that I'm on right now as far as like balancing the two. I also have 2 dogs and like a personal life outside of work and outside of content creation. For instance, I'm even dating right now, so it's like there's a lot of life aspects to juggle when you're like working full-time, have a niche project on the side, you have 2 dogs to take care of, and that just, my mind is such a tangent place, but like that just reminds me, like, people who are full-time parents and working full-time and got dogs and got this, got that, I have so much respect for you, because I'm a 24-year-old in an apartment with 2 dogs, a full-time job, and I'm a content creator, and some days are so full. I can only imagine what it's like taking care of children on top of that, so I commend you all so much for that. But that was a random tangent. But anyways, yeah, I kind of just found balance by going through the motions every day. Maybe write down what you want to do. Try to make time for it. If you aren't one of those people who like to stick to times very strictly, try and write it down. Set timers. Just find something that motivates you to get up and do what you want to do. Because at the end of the day, I feel like if you want it bad enough, you're going to do it. A lot of people are asking about fashion and like my dogs. So let's go into like what helps you create a bomb outfit. Somebody just asked me that. So I think during the colder months is so much easier because layering for me is everything, y'all. You know me. If you know me, you know. I will wear a jean, a shirt, and a jacket all fall, winter long. I think that having some good jackets, cardigans, and sweaters, whatever, is just gonna build a wardrobe so much. Having a good pair of jeans, whether it be 1, 2, or 3, it don't matter, keep wearing them, because I know I'm gonna keep wearing mine. But having a good pair of jeans, everything. A good pair of dark denim, light denim, and some medium wash / black jeans also in there, you're gonna be good. And then some good cardigans, some good jackets, leather jackets. I love leather jackets. Some nice cardigans and sweaters, some nice long sleeves, some nice short sleeves, and some nice tank tops. A good single-breasted coat, a good trench coat. You can build so many infinite outfits with those combinations there. So I'm always gonna advocate for a good jacket and / layering. And then someone asked, what are my must-have staple pieces? Y'all know that I am an Aritzia fanatic, and out the quality of Aritzia is absolutely everything, y'all. So anything from there is gonna be good quality in my opinion. But I really love their sweats. I stay in sweats pretty much all winter long. I even wear hoodies to work. Thank the Lord we can do that. But I love their hoodies and sweat sets, y'all know that. I love their long sleeves and short sleeves, whether it be Babaton, Sunday's Best, TNA, whatever. They have really good quality stuff. And I do have a few Aritzia must-haves. So one of them I can think of off the top of my head would be the TNA ribbed long sleeve t-shirt. I really like that one. Anything Babaton, bodysuit, contour neck, square neck, whatever, whether you want short sleeves or long sleeves, a Babaton bodysuit, absolutely. And then I would say a TNA sweat fleece set, whether it be the cargo pants or the perfect fit pants or the perfect fit hoodie or the zip up hoodie. I think by far lately my favorite one has been the perfect fit pullover hoodie, and then the oversized mega, I think like perfect fit sweats or something like that. So those have been my favorite lately. I'm gonna ask, how do I handle being away from my family? I am by nature a very like secluded type of person. I really do love being by myself. I actually crave it. Now I know it's not all the time healthy for you to be by yourself, so I do miss my family sometimes. That's not to say I don't miss them, because I do, but I really enjoy my own space, my own serenity. I love peace and quiet, so it's like the quiet level is just at my liking. I do have 2 dogs who are kind of yappy, especially the little one, but yeah, I really do like being alone, y'all. But that's not to say I don't get lonely sometimes, because I am human. Someone asked about tips on vlogging by yourself in public, y'all. Please do not be afraid to get that content. And I know you hear a lot of people saying this all the time, but like seriously, y'all, sitting on content is so crazy. If you have the ability and the want to do so, then please do so. Push that content out and then watch it grow over time. A lot of people are like, oh, it's not good enough, I don't want to post it. Post that video and use that video as reference for how much you've grown in a year, so you can keep getting better over that year. Keep going back to look at that video and say, oh my gosh, my editing skills have gotten so much better. Oh my gosh, my community has grown so much larger. Oh my gosh, my lifestyle has changed in so many ways, whatever the case may be. Please post that content. Please post that content. Please post that content. Stop sitting on content. That makes no sense at all, in my opinion. But just getting over fear in general. A lot of people ask about like fear of vlogging in public. For me, that did exist in the beginning, because anybody walking around with a camera like this in a freaking Target or whatever, you're gonna look at them. But at the end of the day, who cares? Like, who cares? Somebody might care for 2 seconds, and then after that 2 seconds, they're not caring anymore because they're not worried about you, right? And then beyond that, it's like once you keep doing it, it'll go away. The fear of vlogging in public will go away. I don't care where I am. I will set my camera up now. I will hold it in my hand. I will talk loud or low or whatever the case may be. I am not afraid to vlog in public because at the end of the day, I'm gonna get this content and you should too. But yeah, just get over the fear of doing it in public, because at the end of the day, nobody's actually truly worried about you. They're only truly worried about what they're in the store for, what they're whatever, wherever you may be. They're only really worried about themselves. They're not truly worried about you. Now, every so often you do get a few people that are like, oh, what are you doing? Oh, you can't do that or whatever. But that's not like every single day or anything like that. But you just have to get over it and just try it in small increments. Maybe go out to the mall or something by yourself and see if you can vlog in 2 of the 5 stores you go in. And if you can, then you've won that accomplishment. Good for you. And then the next time you go to the mall, take it up to 4 out of 5. And then the next time, take it up to 5 out of 5. And by the time you get to 5 out of 5, I'm making up some random scenarios, but by the time you get to 5 out of 5, you should be more comfortable by myself or whatever. You just won't be scared anymore. Now we can talk about faith and my journey with God and things like that, because a lot of people ask me about my faith journey, if I'm looking for a church home, whatever the case may be, tips on how to get close to God and things like that. Someone actually asked me if I'm looking for a church home because they always see me like on virtual service. So I do have a church home. I'm a member of Up From the World Ministries in Detroit, Michigan. A lot of you know that I moved to Pennsylvania right after I graduated undergrad to come here for grad school. So I've been here for a couple years. The pastor of that church actually happens to be my father. So that is my good and steady church home. I grew up in church. All I've ever known is church, and my relationship with God has been cultivated since the time I was literally born. That is the absolute most important thing that I have going in my life right now. Beyond the consecration, beyond the work, beyond the everything that you see, me and God are the most important. My relationship with God is the most important thing that exists to me in this day and age. And as I get older, it just grows increasingly more important, because I realize how much grace he has to extend for us, how much mercy he's been covering us with all the days of our lives. And every time I go through something, I'm just in awe. I'm in awe on a daily basis, really. How God has blessed me this tremendously, this young, and the way I get to live my lifestyle in such gratitude and just be grateful for everything. I'm always in awe of the grace and mercy that he has to supply for us all. But a lot of people ask me just tips on getting closer to God. I would most definitely recommend to pray, and most definitely recommend to get in your Bible. Your word is everything. That is the foundation God left for you and laid for you. But I think it's so important to get into the reading of the word. Now I know a lot of people do not understand or cannot interpret it properly, or just find it hard to read because it's not a normal read. It's not a book you read from front to back like that. There is a bit more complexity to it, but to that I say, find you a good leader who will lead you and teach you and fill you with knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of the word of God. And until then, just pour into yourself and start to cultivate your relationship with God through prayer, and I think that he will hear you. I have so many testimonies about how God has been good to me throughout the days of my life. Like, y'all know what I went through in July. He covered me so much. Even then, what I went through with Java, he literally delivered Java from the hands of death and brought him back to life, brought him back to the land of the living, man. So like, I'm never short on the testimony. I'm never short on the goodness of God, and I'm always gonna praise him all throughout the days of my life, y'all. That is the most important thing to me ever, because without him, I am nothing. And then I go to think about how I've built a community on social media and how I've built this nice career for myself, but without God, I am none of those things. And if you take all of those things away from me, I still know who I am in God. Like, my career doesn't define me. My presence on social media does not define me. Everything, every one of those single things can go away, and who I am in God will still remain. And that is like the goal for me, to just be good in my standing in my relationship with God. I don't judge anybody else on their relationship with God, because that is between you and God. But I do know that I cherish and value and will continue to cultivate and nurture my relationship with God. All right, let's talk about dogs now, because a lot of y'all ask me so many questions about the dogs. One is actually right here about to jump in my lap. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Oh, good job. This is Java. He is 4 months old, and then this is Juno. He is a year old. They are both miniature schnauzers. I get a lot of questions about like what kind of dogs they are, what's their personalities like, what they eat, whatever, how I trained them to be such good boys. This one. I love them so much, but let's talk about dogs. So like I said, yeah, there are mini schnauzers. I would highly recommend a mini schnauzer for anybody that's looking to get a dog for the first time. They are hyperallergenic. They do not shed. They are very intelligent, like one of the smartest dog breeds. They're very stubborn at times, especially this one. But you could get a good one out the batch like Juno. He's very quiet. He doesn't bark. The breed is known for their yappiness and the amount that they bark, but Juno actually doesn't bark. This one does, so he is like the typical breed standard, I would say, because he is very yappy and very stubborn and just very feisty, whereas Juno is really not. They both are from different breeders. If you know the story about Java, I will never ever recommend his breeders to anybody. I never want anybody to go through anything remotely close. But Juno is from a breeder in Gap, Pennsylvania. Their names are School Lane Kennels, and that man breeds some really nice dogs. He is very kind, very intelligent, and you can tell that he knows what he's doing. But regardless, before you get a dog, make sure you do the research to see if the dog will fit your lifestyle, and make sure you get it from a nice reputable breeder. Juno eats unkibble from Spot and Tango, and then Java eats Royal Canin right now. This is crazy. Java eats Royal Canin right now, but I am gonna go ahead and switch his diet because his skin is really dry and I think he has allergies and it could be coming from the food. So I want him to be at his best. So I'm gonna go ahead and switch his food, and then they each get a daily supplement from Native Pet. It's called the Daily. It's a powder that you just sprinkle over the food. It has a lot of multivitamins and benefits for dogs. I will highly recommend it. A lot of people ask me about training and just how to raise a good boy. Juno is the best boy like ever. Don't let Java hear. Java, you're a good boy too. But Juno was such an easy dog to raise and potty train and all that stuff. But basically, from the time that I got him, we started to crate train. Day one, I never let Juno sleep outside of the crate up until he was like probably 9 months. Somewhere between 9 months and a year old is when I first started to let him sleep out of the crate because he proved himself trustworthy. I also did not leave him alone at home outside of the crate until he proved himself to be trustworthy. I started to give him little increments of space, and then I would increase it with time. And if he would prove himself to be a good boy in that amount of time, then I would, largen the space. And then if he was not a good boy, I would take that space back away from him. Same thing with potty training. Since the day that I got him, we went outside every 2 hours or every hour or sometimes less than that. Until he eventually learned to not use the bathroom in the house. I do not use potty pads. That inadvertently teaches a dog that they can use the bathroom in the house, just in a designated spot. I do not want my dogs to use the bathroom in my house at all. I do not like the smell of dog odor, urine, poop, whatever the case may be. I do not like the smell of it. So they do not pee and poop in my house. Java has been on a nice little streak. Like I said, he is only 4 months old, so he's still being trained. He's actually in training classes for his reactivity also. If you don't know, Java is very reactive to people and dogs when we go outside. So he's being trained for that. But yeah, as far as potty training goes, in crate training, I completely have that under wraps because that to me is the most easy thing. General obedience is pretty easy in my opinion also. You just have to stick with it. Consistency is everything when raising a puppy. Like, it is everything. You have to be dedicated and consistent to it, and I promise you, you will get a good dog out of your puppy. While we're talking about dogs, someone asked how I adjusted to having 2 dogs with my lifestyle. To be honest with you, I was so afraid of getting the second one because I knew it would be like a crazy adjustment. But if I'm being completely honest with you, if you already have 1 dog and you're thinking about adding 2, getting the second one was like the best decision I've ever made because you already have to do the things that you were doing with 1 anyways. You're just adding another one to the bunch. But I would say do not get a second one until your first one is fully trained and at a good spot in training where you can properly add a second one without being burdened by the first one. Like, if your first one isn't fully potty trained, do not go and get a puppy because you're still potty training that one. So you're gonna have 2 to potty train. Get your first one to a good point where there is no more training needed, there is no more craziness and just chaos in the puppy life, and then add that second one. But if your dog is at that point, I will highly recommend it. I was so afraid, but I'm so grateful I got the second one because it's so much better. Juno never has to be lonely. Java will even always have somebody. It's so nice to just have 2 of them and to just have 2 like-minded things walking around. Like, I could only relate to Juno so much and he can only relate to me so much, but he can relate to Java so much more, and I'm so grateful to have Java. We are grateful to have Java. Java has been through a lot and he is a living testimony, so we are very grateful to have him. A lot of y'all are so interested in my dating life, like, oh my gosh, can I breathe? But no, seriously, I get so many questions about if I'm dating, who I'm dating, blah, 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 blah. I value privacy so much, like as it relates to my career and as it relates to dating. I don't mind ever sharing if I am dating, but I'm not gonna tell you who I'm dating, this, that, and the other in too much detail, because I respect my private life and I also respect the private lives of whoever I'm dating at the moment. But I am currently dating, and I don't know what else I need to say about it. I'm currently dating, I don't know. A lot of people sometimes ask me like how to get over heartbreak or get over a guy or move on or whatever. So for me personally, I date with the intention of marriage in mind. So if someone does not fulfill my desires and my needs and my wants as it relates to who God has for me, since God is good on his word, I know he will deliver on his end. I just have to be faithful on my end. So if someone does not fulfill those needs or wants of mine, and they are not my person that I'm supposed to marry, then that makes it easier for me to let them go, because they do not have what I am looking for ultimately in life. So it's like, I never want to be stuck on a person that God did not send for me to have, if that makes any sense. I also am really good at accepting the reality of a situation. So if a situation is telling you something in your face for what it is, please do not try to change it. Please do not try to change a person if they are telling you who they are over and over again. Absolutely listen, take that into account, accept the reality of the situation, and move how you need to move. In my opinion, there's no real need to be stuck up on someone that God did not send for you, does not have for you. That's how I kind of think of it. Now, I am human and I do have a heart and I do have emotions. That's not to say that mourning someone is not okay, because it is okay. Feel your feels, but don't be stuck in them too long, okay? Because at the end of my day, if it ain't from God, I don't want it. If it's not aligned with his vision for my life, I do not want it, okay? So in my opinion, it kind of makes it easier to let go of something if it's not aligned with his will for my life. And then somebody asked me what I look for in a husband / I guess what I look for in dating in general. I like like-minded people like myself. I am absolutely looking for somebody who has a relationship with God, because that is the most important thing in my life, like I mentioned earlier. I'm absolutely looking for someone who is kind, caring, intelligent, who knows how to actively listen and effectively communicate, all the good things, y'all. I'm not looking for like Jesus himself to come down and marry me. Like, I'm not doing all that. I have 100% faith that God will remain good on his word and will deliver. He knows the desires of my heart. He knows that I desire to be a wife. He knows that I desire to be a mother, and he will fulfill good on his part. And I just got to keep the faith alive while I'm in my waiting season until I do find that. But I'm not in a rush for that. I'm only 24, y'all. I'm young and turned with 2 dogs. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not young. Okay. I'm not young and turnt, but I do have 2 dogs, and I'm not rushing the process at all. Like, I don't want to have children tomorrow. I want them, but I don't want them tomorrow. I don't want a husband tomorrow. I want to be single tomorrow. I want to be single for however long until I actually meet the person that God has for me. Someone asked, do you think it's better for you to have an apartment or look into a house? So my next move is most certainly going to be a townhome from an apartment. Now, I don't know if I'm going to an apartment after this or not. I might not. Depends on if I'm going to move to my new city or not and when I'm going to do that. If I move to a new city, I think I'm going to rent an apartment first, and then I'm going to purchase a townhome. That's the goal until I get married, and then I want to buy a home with my spouse. But yeah. A lot of people ask me like if my hair is natural or if I have a perm or whatever the case may be, which by the way, a perm makes your hair curly, a relaxer makes it straight. And no, I don't have a relaxer. My hair is natural. I don't know why I get that question so much, but no, my hair is natural. How do you stay patient while waiting for the right man? She said, I'm struggling, sis, help. But that just goes back to what I was saying a little bit earlier. If you know that God will remain good on his word, now, I stand strong in my faith, but if you know God will remain good on his word, you have nothing to worry about in your waiting season. You only have to be patient, and he will give you the desires of your heart. And if you're not patient, you're going to end up in a spot where you're with someone that God doesn't have for you. And that's the last thing I want for my life. So if it means being patient, I'm going to sit and I'm going to wait. Now, naturally, in the natural world, I think she's asking me, how do you stay patient? But I think it's just a reminder, even just to yourself, like, hey, this is what I want out of a man. This is what I want out of life. If I rush it, I may not get those things. And just think of the long run. Think of future you. Do you want to settle? I think not. So do not settle, just wait. That's my like number one slogan. Do not settle. Whether it's dating, friendship, jobs, whatever, do not settle. This world is too grand. It is too big. It is too luxurious for you to be settling on any aspect of life, okay? Now, some things do take a certain amount of discernment and wisdom, and sometimes you can't have it all immediately. But I serve a have it all God, okay? Like, I can have it all in God. Like, as long as my ways and his ways are aligned and he knows the desires of my heart, I can have everything I want out of this life as long as I'm walking in the walk of obedience and doing what I need to do as it relates to God. Someone said, how do you develop your aesthetic? Who inspired you? I get so much of my inspiration from Pinterest, y'all. Other than that, a lot of it just comes from the back of my brain. I'm not gonna lie. Lately it's been Pinterest. Like the last, I would say 3 to 4 months, I've been super heavily inspired on Pinterest. Like home stuff, I love just going into stores in person and picking up an item or having some item in my mind and building my entire home around that item or entire room around that item. Same thing with clothes. I follow a lot of people on TikTok that inspire me fashion-wise. Kyra Nicole, Aaliyah Face, a lot of those people inspire like what I wear. And then some of their homes are super nice too, so I take inspiration from that. Like I said, I love going into a home goods and seeing a piece and building around it, like a major piece. Like for instance, in my office, I ordered my desk first, which by the way is from Wayfair, because a lot of people ask. And then I just built the room around the desk. I knew I was gonna bring those in here and I knew they matched the desk. I knew the rug matched, so I picked out 2 chairs that matched, and then the vision just came together. And then after that, I just kind of just build on to the big things with the small things, if that makes any sense. So like going to Home Goods, picking out coffee table books or vases or whatever the case may be. I love decorating, y'all. I love it. I want a whole home simply so I can decorate it. Like I am so invested in that. I love it. Someone asked, if you don't have the glitz and glam life, how do you navigate content creation? And to that I say, comparison is the thief of joy. Do not wait on something to get good while you're sitting on content. Like I was saying earlier, release that content. Someone is always gonna be able to relate to you because we're not all in the same walk or in the same stage of life. So I think the comparison game is such a thief of joy because it's like, oh, I'm waiting until I move into an apartment with stainless steel refrigerators. I'm waiting until I move into an apartment with all hardwood floors. No, get that content now. And then when you do move into that apartment with hardwood floors and stainless steel appliances or whatever the case may be that you want, you're gonna be able to look back at that content and be like, oh my gosh, I came from this and now I have this. I grew so much. I can measure my growth. And that's such a huge thing for me. Being able to measure growth is so big. And then the glitz and glam thing is subjective, and it's really just a comparison game if you ask me, because you may not have what the next person have, the next person may not have what you have, and then comparing the two is just kind of just stealing your joy and keeping you from doing something that you want to do, obviously. So it's like, upload that content because someone is always going to be able to relate to you. Someone asked how I found friends in my 20s. So after I moved to Philly, like, grad school helped me out a lot. Like, if you're in college, it's so much easier to make friends than it is like if you're just in the real world with no like institution that you go to every day that you see like younger people at every single day. But I made a lot of my Philly friends from grad school now. Some have moved away, some I'm no longer friends with, which by the way, it is okay if you're not compatible with the person that you meet. It is okay to not be friends with somebody anymore. It is okay to not be in a relationship with somebody anymore. It is okay to pluck and weed people out of your life for the benefit of yourself. It is okay, okay? A lot of people hold on to things, I think, and a lot of times that just doesn't serve you. And I always say, if it doesn't serve me, it doesn't have purpose. Now, that's not to say that I'm just this selfish person that everything around me has to serve me or whatever the case may be. It's not really what I'm speaking to, but I'm more so speaking to edification, wisdom, gratitude, discernment. I like-minded people around me, and if those qualities don't exist in people that I call friends, then that truly does not serve me, especially as it relates to my walk with God. So it is okay to relieve those people of your life. Bad blood does not have to occur. Grudges do not have to be held. It is okay to be mature enough to understand that you don't have to be friends with everybody that you meet, okay? But going back to the original topic, how do I make friends? So yeah, largely grad school helped me out. Some of them aren't around. Some of them moved away, some of them are around, which is nice. Not a lot. But I am such a naturally shy person, and by the way, that's one of the things that I value so much, at least right now in this walk, in this stage of my life, is cultivating meaningful relationships with women, like friendships with women. I think that actually means more to me right now than cultivating like a relationship with a man, because I know God is going to give me that. I'm just more so focused on meeting friends, y'all, because that is such a beneficial thing to have and such an underrated thing to have too. Like, a true friend is so underrated. And then a lot of people are asking me, like, would you hang out with a subscriber? Would you hang out with people from the internet? And to that, I say just be careful. Just be really, really cautious and careful of that. You don't know everybody's intentions. You don't know what everybody has in their heart for you. But I'll be quiet, Java. I would say with anybody new you meet, just use a lot of wisdom and discernment, feel them out, and get to know them on a basis of just friendship. But I've made some really nice friendships from the internet, so that's not to say that good things can't come from it. But again, I would just urge you to be cautious and careful. A lot of people are asking about just controlling emotions when it comes to relationships and things, self-love journey and advice. And I would answer that for me personally, like, I know who I am in God. Like, I am who God says I am. And I know a lot of people aren't looking for such spiritual answers, but I am not going to shy away from who I am, how I was raised, and what really fuels my life, which is my relationship with God. I know who I am in God. I am who He says I am, so I'm going to stand strong in that. And I do understand that it can be difficult, especially for younger people, to know who they truly actually are. And to that, I would say find something that you like to do, and find something that serves you, find something that gives you purpose, find something that feeds your spirit, find something that feeds your soul, find something that genuinely makes you happy, and try to build a life around it, honestly. Find activities and hobbies that make you smile. Find friends that fill you with gratitude and joy, and just like fill your cup, honestly. Find activities that fill your cup. And in that, all that searching, I think you'll find almost who you are. A lot of the self-love journey, self-reflection, just knowing who you are, honestly, sometimes just comes with time. Sorry, my dogs are barking. Over time, you get to know what you don't like, what you do like, who you are, who you're not. And I think all that is a growing experience, and the more life you experience, the more you know who you are. Like, I don't fully know who I am yet. I stand firm in who I am right now. I don't know the me I'll be in 10 years. So I don't know the full aspect of my life. I don't know everything that God has for me, but I will learn it as I keep going. So I will urge you to just keep going, find something that makes you happy, and little by little, you'll find who you are and what your purpose is. All right, y'all, that brings me to the end of most of the questions. I tried to bulk them all. If you have any other questions, I will certainly answer them in the comments. But again, thank you for 20K, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And until next time, I'll see y'all.